All right, back in the saddle. Brian Adams here. MDK. Master your business, dominate your trade, kick your competition's ass. July 1st. Man, just got back from a bike ride. I wanted to hop on here and spend some time with all the business owners. And I really wanted to talk about your health is your business. Kind of go over some health and fitness tips, importance, food, exercise. I don't know. Join the conversation. Uh, I would say drink a lot of water, but I don't even think that's right. You got to have a little pinch of salt underneath your tongue so that your cells absorb it. Uh, I should have brought a pack of the electrolytes that I used to get me across the friggin' desert in 115 degrees heat. All the magnesium and it was like drinking an IV bottle. Uh, I mean, I can't talk about how great that stuff was enough. Man, I had no cramps, any of it. Uh, man, but let's dive into this because the greatest gift we've been given is time here on earth. And that's why I put together the business manuals for myself, and now I share them with other companies. But all we have is time on earth. I mean, that's the greatest gift. And the majority of us spend that time trying to earn money to pay bills. And if there's any money left over, we try to have a little bit of fun with the family and friends. It's a weird life, unless, and I don't know, maybe is it, I don't, usually there's the 80-20 rule, and I think it's more like 97% of the people are just getting by, just, paying the bills. And that can be okay if you enjoy what you do, but I don't even think the majority of people plan what they want to do. So many people go to spend, tens, $100,000 on college, get a degree, and never even use it. Uh, we'll do a whole nother podcast on if college is worth it. I think most people just end up with a job because they needed a job. They needed money to pay rent, and it wasn't a horrible job, so they kept doing it, and they got a little bit more money and got engaged or married, and just you need money to live. Uh, just there's no way around it. But all we have is time on Earth. It's up to us on how we use it, and uh, I just traveled the country. You can see homeless people everywhere. So I don't know, man. Maybe they've got it figured out. Or Joe Rogan or someone was talking about a documentary I'd like to find. And I think it's called The Happy People or something like that. But it's these different tribes, indigenous people who haven't changed the way they lived in thousands of years. And, the cameramen, the producers, and all follow them around. They seem to be the happiest people on the planet. So there's something to that. Uh, and I don't know if a lot of us, get the choice, the chance to design the life that we want, the way that uh, if you come to any of my personal development seminars, we're going to do uh, we're going to do exercises where you write down and figure out what it is, what type of life you want. You're going to design your life and plan your life, and then you're going to set the goals and the actions to take daily. And I don't know, maybe you should go to one of those a couple of times a year to keep you on track. I know that when near the end of one of my presentations, I'll share the movie The 51st Dates with Adam Sandler and whatever her name is. Uh, because I know in my events, whether it's a 30-minute presentation, hour presentation, half day, 3-day event, I know by the end of it, the participants are fired up, man. They're just ready to take on the world. What? Karate style, man. They're ready to go at it. It's just, uh, that's the emotional state of being in a room full of like-minded people like that, going through the exercises, learning things. What's up, Big Charlie? I am back, brother. I'm trying to get back. I'm doing this today because I'm leaving tomorrow for a camping trip for the 4th of July. But yeah, so I know when they leave the event, they are fired up. Charlie was just at a little event with me in outside of Dallas, Texas. It wasn't McKinley where he lives. What was the name of that town we were in? Jason's company is at, Charlie, if you're still there. Uh, and I know, I mean, and I'm not saying it like big headed or shit. It's just when you're in a room like that, hearing the things that we talk about, writing down stuff. I mean, the neurons fire off, the emotion starts going. You are fired up at the end of these events. Anthony Robbins has one coming up here in Long Beach. No, matter of fact, it's real close to where I used to live. Like I could have walked to it before moving out here to the ranch at the Honda Center in Anaheim. Uh, Man, I would love for my daughter and her fiance to go. It's a 5 or 6 day event. I mean, and it's like 14-hour days, 16-hour days. It's crazy. What's up, Big Alex? Allen, Texas is where we were at. We got Andrew is awake. What's up, brother? What's up? So we were in Allen, Texas. So I'll share at the end of the event. I'll say, man, I said, you've got to do like Adam Sandler did for whatever the hell her name is. What the hell is it? Drew Barrymore. So if you know the movie 50 First Dates, Drew Barrymore was in a car accident, so she has to relive the same day every day. She wakes up with no memories of the day before. She can't remember anything after the car accident. So Adam Sandler meets her, falls in love with her, and he's like, so every day it's like they're meeting for the first time. And they almost don't get together. But at the end of it, they're on this huge sailboat, and they're heading up to Alaska to do something with seals or something. But Adam Sandler had made this video for her. It's on a VHS tape. That's how old the movie is. So she wakes up on the boat. This VHS tape is right there beside of her, and it says, "Watch this before you come upstairs." So she pops it in and she's watching it, and it shows how she was in the car accident. She has, the brain damage. She can't remember anything. And then it's the highlights of when they met and they got married. And by now they've got a little baby that's 3 or 4 or something. So it reminds her of everything that she forgot while she was asleep. So I tell people at the end of the event, I'm like, man, take out your cell phone, put it on selfie mode, and make a recording right now of why you are so fired up, why you are so energetic, what we've done through the last hour, through the last day, through the last 3 days, what you want to accomplish, because it's all with you right now, man. And right now you could take on King Kong and whoop his ass. But trust me, when you wake up in the morning, it's going to be like Drew Barrymore. You're not going to remember any of it. You'll remember a little bit of it, but the fire is not going to be there. And I tell guys, I'll say, man, make that video. And when you roll out of bed in the morning, instead of looking at your text messages, your emails, your Facebook, and arguing, and I'll say, man, rewatch that video over and over again of why you're so fired up, why you're so energetic, why you want to take on the world, and remind yourself. My friend and mentor Jim Rohn used to say, Lodi. And Lodi, because I go to Bakersville usually every year, there's a nostalgic drag race up there in Bakersville. It's Folsom, I think Folsom. Well, look it up, right outside of Bakersville. So we go up there for the drag races. And outside of Bakersville, there's a little town called Lodi. But Lodi represents the law of diminishing intent. The law of diminishing intent. because you'll come to my event, you'll go to any of these personal development events, business events, and you're fired up. You're ready to hire sales reps. You're ready to get a couple of project managers, get a couple of office manager ladies. Man, you're just ready to build it. Or you're ready to, hit the gym every day and do this and that and eat healthy and all that. But I'm telling you, every day, the law of diminishing intent creeps in on us. It only takes about 3 to 5 days. Man, you say, man, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to fast. What you do, in the moment you want it. But when you wake up in the morning, sometimes it just ain't there. The discipline is a part of the brain, and the brain is a muscle just like any other part of your body. You have to exercise it. Sudoku, the little word search games, memory games, everything. You got to exercise your brain, and discipline is a part of the brain that you have to exercise, just like hit bench press, curls, whatever it is. It should be the most important part of the brain. Charlie says, dude, your speech in Allen was killer. I know you well, was still impressed. I think because Charlie afterwards, Charlie said, man, what was that? I don't even know where that was. So, but yeah, that's that mental martial art. But the law of diminishing intent wins every time. That's why I have a program called the 21-Day Mental Diet. Change your life by changing your thoughts. And it's good. I mean, it really is good. It's extremely hard to finish the entire 21 days, because for 21 days, you have to be in the state of awareness. It's like this notebook that I have that goes with these 2 CDs, and the 2 CDs are all about the subconscious mind. But this manual, this book, is every 15 minutes, you have to stop what you're doing and reflect on the last 15 minutes and write it down, what you were thinking about and what you were doing. It takes about a minute to write it down, but it makes you stay conscious. It makes you stay in the awareness phase. You have to know what's going on. 80% of the time we're on autopilot and just breezing through the day. I mean, shit, most people get in the car and drive home and can't tell you how they even got home. So the self-driving cars that are soon to be taken over, it probably won't be much different. Most people can't. It's like, man, they just get in and they're on autopilot. Listening to the podcast, listening to the radio, whatever, and next thing you know, they're at home, unless something happens and they're sitting in traffic and they're frustrated. But but everything is connected to everything. So we started out by saying the greatest gift we've been given is time here on earth. And I so believe that that's true. What I'm still trying to figure out is why we were given that gift. I believe it's because we go through the struggles that we go through, because as a spirit, it's the only way you grow as a person and as a spirit is through overcoming the obstacles, the struggles, the challenges, the defeats, the wins, all of that. That's why I'm not a fan of comfort. Comfort kills, man. You got to be in it all the time. You got to be in it all the time. I knew the ride home on the motorcycle was going to be tough, and I knew where it was going to be tough, and I was mentally preparing myself for that last 8 hours, because the sun's just beating down on you. You're like, God damn, can't make it. I can't take you, and you just drink your electrolytes and push through the pain. And we do that on long hikes. Hiking Mount Whitney was that way. God, dog. Mount Whitney messed me up because I underestimated it, which I won't let that happen again. But at the end of it, it's like, man, the satisfaction of doing it and accomplishing it and then being up there. And I bring up Mount Whitney because just while I was on the road, I got back, I was watching a little local news, and a father and son hiked Mount Whitney. The son's 14, and they hike to the top, man. They got the picture, whatever it is, like 14,000 feet, whatever it is. Uh, and then on the way down, the son started getting altitude sickness and started hallucinating. And the dad was trying to help him. And the son was telling him, Dad, you see those clouds over there? That's this and the other things. And the dad kept trying to, like, let's just keep, let's get lower, let's get lower, let's get lower. And they stopped and take a little break. And the dad said he was just, just at a loss, didn't and was literally crying because he couldn't help his son. And he went like this to wipe the tears out of his eyes. And as he did, as he was opening his eyes back up, he watched his son walk off the cliff and drop. I don't know how many, 20, 30, 40 feet, whatever it was, and hit solid granite. And then had to climb down and hold him, not knowing if he was going to make it. And took the helicopter like 6, 7 hours to get over there, and then fly him somewhere and put him on a induced coma. And now he's going to have to relearn to walk, talk, eat, everything again. But he's not dead. But that's what brought up Mount Whitney. But it's all of those struggles that we've go through is what makes you grow as a spirit and as a person. But greatest gift we got is time here on earth. God gave you control over 3 areas of your life. It's the only 3 areas of life that you have total 100% control over. And that is what you put in your body, what you do with your body, and the thoughts that you dwell on. Not the thoughts that pop into your mind. It's the ones that you dwell on. Because thoughts will pop into your mind all the time. Presentation that we talked about in Allen, Texas, mental martial arts, we think in pictures. So those pictures will pop up. It's up to you if you're going to dwell on those pictures and turn that picture into a moving picture and play that movie over and over again. And then what it does to the brain and the synapses and all this other stuff, how you form and unform habits is in that moment. And then you add emotion to it. And the more strong the emotion, the stronger the memory is going to be. A lot goes into it, but it's those 3 things that you have total control over. All of that, we're 18 minutes into it. All of that to say, if you don't have your health, none of that, I don't want to say none of it matters, but the better your health is, the better everything will be. When I spoke with Dimitri, the roofing guy, and we talked about AI, AI sales, AI answering the phone, AI everything, and we both agreed that AI is never going to replace the human emotions and connections and all this other stuff. But if there's 2 equal companies, and one of them is using AI, the company using AI will overtake the company that's not using AI because you just have extra. So if you've got 2 equal companies, 2 equal business owners, equal in all ways except for health, the business owner with the better health will overtake the business owner that is neglecting their health. When I see contractors tell me all the time, oh yeah, man, marijuana is legal in my state. I get high 3 or 4 times a week, man. It doesn't affect me at all. Okay. Keep telling yourself that. I will have a couple of drinks this weekend. It's 4th of July. I'll be with my buddies camping. But like that last 8 hours of my trip, I plan those days. And I plan the days after. So if there was something going on Saturday, I wouldn't be drinking Friday. That's what I'm saying. Because of what it does. Because I'm not at my best. I'm not at my peak. So let's get into a little bit of the health. I'm going to tell you guys some shit that I've been researching and living for the last 3 years. But before that, I'm going to do number one. Number one on the health and fitness in all areas of your life. Number one, we're going to start with number one. I've been teaching this for 40 years, and that is stress. Stress is the number one killer. It's the number one disease creator. It's the number one of all things when it comes to your health and fitness and lifestyle, everything. You have got to learn to control your stress. I got my notes and stuff. If you look up Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, man, I've known this guy for, this is 2025, so at least 25 years, probably longer. He's got a great video. I shared it with some of my contractors. It's called The Biology of Belief. Near the end of that video, and he's got videos that go directly to stress. But at the end of that video, he even talks about stress and on a cellular level, what stress does to you. And basically, in a nutshell, the easiest way to explain it is over all the years of us evolving, stress releases cortisol, which puts you in flight or fight mode. So it restricts your breathing. It takes the blood flow away from your internal organs and sends them to like your hands, your feet, all of that stuff. It basically almost shuts down your internal organs, puts them as low as it can to keep you alive. Because in that moment, you don't need your heart, your lungs, and your guts, your all of that stuff. You don't need it if you're going to be dying. And that's what stress in the brain, or it tells the brain. That's what stress tells the brain. It's like, hey, we got to do something right now, man. This guy is in life and death situation. Nothing else matters except let's get out of here, or let's fight, let's protect it, all of that. And the biggest thing it does is shuts down your immune system. So while you're stressed, that's why you'll end up with a cold or cancer or sick and disease, because your immune system is shut down. That's why it's so important to build up your immune system. Fuck all that hand wiping shit and all that, man. Eat your boogers as a kid. It helps you build your immune system. Kids are supposed to be playing in the sandbox with other kids, getting sick, growing and strengthening that immune system, all of that. That's why that whole Fauci bullshit, COVID bullshit, stay at home, worst idea on planet history. Oh my God. And they know it. Don't get me started on that. But the immune system it's like uncharted territory. It's still so just, they still don't, they're not sure how it works. They just know how important it is and how to strengthen it over and over and over again. But stress will shut it down because you don't need it. If you're going to be dead right now, you don't need any of that shit. So that's why stress is so crazy. It's necessary, but it's crazy. That's why emotions, man, what we used to talk about, emotions is when you're stressed like that, on high alert, dark, man, you are. Charlie said stress and the cortisol is what activates his goat flares up. I believe that. I believe it. So on a stress level, but like when that whole fear and flight and stuff, but when you're scared, and that's why scary movies sell so much. The only thing outside of being extremely scared, the only time you get when all five senses are on high alert, I mean, like at the peak, like when you're scared or you're walking through something and your heart is pumping, you hear every little click, every little this, man, you see it the best, you smell everything, man, you are on boom. It's like and that's just years of evolution. The only other time your senses are flared up like that is during sex. So you man, everything just smells better, tastes better, feels better, all of it. Uh, and again, that's for evolution and biology and keeping the human race populated. But you've got to learn to control your stress. And there's breathing, and it does come down to what you eat will help control your stress. Exercising is a must. I've got these two dogs here, and even though we've got the 10 acres, it's like I should still probably take them walking. When I'm out and about, they'll run and chase each other and fight each other over my attention, and they get a lot of exercise. But if you have like a golden retriever or any bigger dog in an apartment, uh, man, you've got to take them walking. They've got to get out. They've got to be exercising, and it's the same for you, man. That's what releases a lot of you know stuff through the body to help you control your stress. Martial arts, lifting weights, tennis, working out, all of that stuff is so important, not just to pump weights and build muscle. And building muscle is extremely underrated for every area of your life. Lifting, and it doesn't have to just be lifting weights. Before we finish, I'll talk about how you don't need to go to the gym, but you can work out. But you do need to do resistance type training. Uh, but you've got to learn to control that stress. How, Brian? It goes back to every area of your brain is a different part of a muscle. Just like, man, you can work out the forearms, you can work out the biceps, triceps, the shoulders, work out the back, all of that. Picture like all the different muscles you have on your body that you can work out, times that by 100, and there's different parts of the brain that you can work out and make stronger. Stress is one of them. Figuring out critical thinking is one of them. Being able to solve different problems. Memory is one of them. I mean, it just goes on. So you've got to work that part of your brain, that muscle, and it does like everything. It starts with what we said earlier: 1, 2, 3. What you put in your body, do with your body, and the thoughts you dwell on. Stress can only be, and what did Bruce say? Uh, Bruce says stress is perception, and it's true. It's a hormonal command. He explains that our brain perceives a threat, deadlines, money worries, relationships, stress immediately activates the HPA axis, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal. That's what triggers a flood of hormones into your bloodstream, primarily the cortisol directing. And what he explains, and it's extremely true, is it's that perception. So something has triggered a pitch. Remember, we think in pictures. So something has triggered a picture in your mind. Uh, and whether it's true or not, your brain believes it to be true and takes action because it doesn't have time. Its number one job is to keep you alive and keep you safe. That's it. Your brain has two purposes: keep you alive, keep you safe. We go through this in my 3-day program, Mental Martial Arts, but keep you alive, keep you safe. So if you're walking down the street and, or like if Charlie is hiking, man, when you walk up on a snake, man, you're climbing like an invisible ladder immediately. You've jumped higher than you could ever jump before, and you think, whoa, man, it's like, man, what? I didn't know I could jump that high. I didn't know I could run that fast. Zoom like little Speedy Gonzalez. Remember that little dude in the cartoon? You're like, boom. Uh, and then you turn around, you come back, you relax a little bit, and you turn back to look at that. I want to see what kind of snake it was. And you look back, and it was a stick. And you're like, what? Man, wasn't even a snake. No, God. Your brain doesn't have time to sit there and logically figure out, is that a stick or is that a snake? Is that a stick that looks like a snake? What kind of snake? No, man, your brain is like, right now, we got to take action. Do something right now. Boom. So for whatever picture pops into your brain, whether it's the snake and the hypothalamus, you just take action. And remember, I said it's the thoughts that you dwell on. So whether it's a client that doesn't want to pay you and you need the money really bad because you got to make payroll. You've spent thousands of dollars on material and didn't get the type of deposit that you should have gotten. And all you're picturing and the movie you're playing in your head is the homeowner not paying you and you having to file bankruptcy and not paying rent, not being able to pay mortgage and not being able to pay the guys. And man, that stress will kill you. Is it real? Maybe. We don't know. Because some stress is good. I want you to be in some sort of stress because stress is what keeps you alive. Stress is what gets you up in the morning and moving. Stress is what makes you do shit you don't want to do because you know the outcome if you don't do it. So it ain't all bad. It's the stress that you're going to use to form that part of the brain called discipline. Because if you don't have the discipline to do what you're supposed to do every day and build up that part of the brain, that's where Lodi comes in, the law of diminishing intent. But you've got to know what's real and what isn't real. Your brain has the two purposes: keep you alive, keep you safe. But God in his infinite wisdom gave you free will. You have the luxury, you have the ability to train your brain onto what's life and death, to where someone will get stressed out about not getting paid or the job getting messed up or whatever it is that's stressing you out. And you've developed that part of the brain to where you know this too shall pass. And you've just got to handle it and learn from it, right? I think my guys are daughter and her partner are doing a job right now, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any profit in the job because it's taking longer and the floor was painted and they didn't know it was painted when they put up the carpet, a whole bunch of stuff. And they're both stressing. And I'm like, that's a part of it, man. Use that stress. Let it sink in. Let it build the memory. I don't want you to forget it. I want it to be painful. I want it to be extremely painful so you don't forget it. I want the emotions to be high so it doesn't happen again. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. There's billions and billions of bits of information that you've experienced through your lifetime, and you only remember a small fraction of them. But if you had a puppy given to you on Christmas morning and New Year's Day, you watched it get run over in front of you outside of your house, because of the emotion that is tied to that memory, you will never forget it. Never forget it. All the other billions of bits of information you'll forget. And you're being bombarded with bits of information all day long. You don't even know it. You don't even realize it. But man, Ryan, what's up, baby? I do got a tan, brother. I got a tan. What do you say? Pain will always teach you more than the good times ever. Always, always. When emotion to sear a memory and almost turn it into an instant habit. That's why affirmations. I used to do this thing called the lies of personal development, and positive affirmations was one of them. Standing in front of the mirror, saying, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm 5'11" and weigh 165 pounds. I have 4% body weight and fat and blah, blah, blah. It's like, so you're doing all these positive affirmations because you've read books and seen these YouTube videos and stuff. And I'm like, man, that's just bullshit. It's lies. It's lies. It almost does more harm than good, because you're sitting there looking at yourself in the eyes, saying this shit over and over again, and consciously and subconsciously, you're lying. You're like, no, you ain't a millionaire. Dude, you're fat right now. What the fuck are you talking about? You're fat. I'm looking at you right now and you're fat. Why are you saying you're not? And everybody's like, no, man, you got to speak it into existence. And I'm like, no, bitch, you got to action it into existence. You got to action it into existence. I'm all for affirmations as long as they're truthful. It's like, hey, man, I'm 30 grand in the hole right now, but in the next 5 years, I'll have over 500,000 sitting in a savings account, and here's how I'm going to do it. And you're looking in the mirror and you're over and over again saying what daily actions you're going to take to get you there, and the pain that it's going to put you in if you don't take those daily actions. That's what works. That's what works. So stress is the number one. It's those pictures that pop into our mind, like Bruce Lipton says, that it's the perception. And I talked about how the cortisol is going to shut down your digestion, your immune, your reproduction, your brain processing. You won't be able to think so clearly. That's why a lot of people, a lot of kids in schools, probably you'll hear stories of kids that are the smartest one in the classroom, but when it comes to taking tests, they fail every test. And it's because of that stress and the cortisol just shutting down. They won't be able to pull up that memory because the brain doesn't know what's going on. And that test is not important at the time. The stress is important. We got to keep this dude alive. We got to keep it alive. And I just read it shuts down the non-essential systems like your digestion and your immune and reproduction and brain processing. So someone may have heard me say reproduction. I'm a dude. I ain't trans. I'm a dude. I'm a man. But it does. And that should be highlighted, and it's not. Your brain has two purposes: keep you alive, keep you safe. The body has two purposes, and the main one is reproducing, and the immune system to keep you from being sick. But the reproduction that we're talking about is you've got, I don't know, 10 billion cells in your body, and they are constantly dying off and reproducing and reproducing. So when you're stressed and it shuts down the reproduction part of your body, those cells are not reproducing like they should. It screws you up. So all of that. I want to move on, but stress is a big one. It's huge. The exercise, the overweight, rucking. I mean, you can take a backpack, fill it up with 50 pounds, 75 pounds, do a couple of squats, wear the bag all day long, walk around, and take this 75-pound bag off at the end of the day and feel the relief. And you're like, Brian, I can't do that, man. That's messing up my knees. It's messing up my hips. It's messing up my ankles. It's messing up my feet, giving me that footy-ish, chirotis bullshit that I heard someone mention. My back is sore. I can't carry around 75 pounds. And more than 80% of the population is carrying around an extra 75 pounds. You look back at the pictures of the 60s and you'll see everybody looks like they're sick because they're so thin. No, that's normal. People are like, no, man, not me. I've got like 10 pounds I need to lose. No, you too. You too. If you think you got 5 to 10 pounds to lose, it probably means you got about 45 pounds to lose. You should be thin, almost very thin. What is it? Krebs diet, calories restricted, adequate, Crane diet, the Crane diet. Crane meaning calories restricted with adequate nutrition. So the study shows the thinner you are, the longer you live. That can kind of be backfired with muscle weighs more than fat, that type of thing. But muscle is still, pounds. But it's a good weight, meaning it not only carries its weight, it helps you carry more weight. It takes the strain off your joints, your ligaments, all of that stuff. I'm not sure about the crazy bodybuilders that big that can't really move. I mean, that's all them. And all of this kind of goes back to stress too, because I don't want you don't have to be carnivore like me or super strict with your eating or your drinking and this, because you'll see people who look like they're in phenomenal shape. And man, they've got their alarm on their phone set. So every 2.5 hours, they're eating this many grams of protein and this many grams of fat and this many grams of carbohydrates, this many grams, all of that stuff. So they're extremely strict at it to so strict that they're stressing themselves out and doing everything that we just talked about. So they may look healthy, but on the inside, their organs and their stomach and the tissues and all of that, the digestion, they're doing way more harm than good. It really is the yin yang. You see that? That's the yin yang. It's the balance in life. A little hard in the soft, a little soft in the hard. Everything is connected to everything. But the better you are in shape, the better you'll be able to deal with stress, the better you'll be able to, your critical thinking, you'll be able to handle problems better, your temper won't fly off as much. So if you look up Booty Harma, I can't spell it. Man, I used to have a poster of Booty Harma, and it said, all know the way, but few walk it. Come on. Come on. All know the way, but few walk it. So Booty Harma was a prince in India, won a lot of battles and all this other stuff. Real tough warrior. Became Buddhist and wanted to go to China and study with the monks. So he travels over the Himalaya mountains, all that stuff, to get to China and study with these monks. And he gets there, and all these monks are sitting around meditating, and they look like the monks that you see the statues of, right? The big fat. And he knows that you cannot reach enlightenment. And that's the goal of all the Buddhist stuff, right? Hinduism, all that stuff. You want to reach enlightenment. Don't quote me on that. I said it like I know for a fact, but it's in there somewhere, right? But Booty Harma knows you cannot reach enlightenment if you're not healthy and in shape. So he teaches these monks a moving meditation, stretches and breathing. And they're doing this movement where at any moment, any fraction of a second, you could stop and you would be balanced. So any part of it. So he teaches them all this: the breathing, the moving meditation, and then they get attacked by somebody. I don't know. One of the dynasties try to take over, and he says, "We got to fight back." And we don't know how to fight. And he's like, "Dude, I've been teaching you martial arts." He was teaching the Tai Chi, which you see all these little Asians doing it in the park. My boy Gary Forback still teaches it. My man that I play golf with, he's 85 and still kicks my ass golf. Carlos teaches the Tai Chi. And that's what Booty Harma was teaching to the monks, which is the Shaolin Kung Fu, all of that stuff. So it kind of veers off from that, because he knew to reach enlightenment, you had to be in the healthier you are, the easier it would be to reach enlightenment. And he's not wrong, because everything just works better. Just think about it, man. Your car, when it's tuned up, when everything is firing on all cylinders, it just runs better. You put shit gas in, it runs like shit. You put water in, it just breaks down. So you got to work yourself out. That's going to relieve the stress. You can go to the gym. That's some of it. The stress thing too is, you've heard me talk about the cold plunge, getting out of the cold plunge into the jacuzzi, and putting your body into those stress. That's a big part of building that stress part of the muscle, of the brain, because you don't want to get into this 40 degrees water, and you have to force yourself to do it. That's part of the discipline brain, right? So the more you're doing it, and is it all the health benefits that they say? I don't know. Hopefully, the brown fat, all this other shit. Hopefully, but if for no other reason, those two reasons right there, you're building that disciplined brain, making yourself get into something you don't want to. You're fighting that demon every day. That little punk ass part of your brain is saying, "Come on, man, this don't even work." Blah, 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 talking you out of doing what you think you should do. And then the stress part of your brain, because when you get in, you're like, and the brain is like, fuck. Get out quick. And you're like, no, no, no. And you control that breathing and you let the stress part of the brain know this is okay. This ain't killing us. This is doing this. And you're relaxing. When you're taking some deep breaths, and deep breaths are so important. And there's some dude in Poland that they get out there and swim with icebergs. And he's got a whole breathing technique that you should probably research and learn. Uh, all of that. So that's part of it. That can be part of your workout. Sprints, do sprints. Whether it's I mean, you can start off with like a 10-second sprint, whatever the fuck that is for you. And that's going to build up a lot of muscle and the lungs and the heart, everything. Sprint for 10, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. Walk back for 2 minutes. Sprint, do that. And just set the goal. Depending on wherever you're at in your health, start with one. Do it for a week. And then add to it. Everything start small. Consult your physician. Get that shit out of here. Get a lot of sunlight. A lot of sunlight. Get a lot of sunlight. Let me pull this picture up. I posted this on my Facebook page today. But I saved the picture also. This is Dr. Eric Berg. He says for every one person who dies from sun exposure, there are 329 people who die from not getting enough sun. Not only that, but 75% of all of the melanomas cancer type stuff are located in areas of the body where we don't expose our skin to the sun. Man, being out in the sun, you ain't got to do it like I just did it. But I don't know if there's not too many things more naturally healthy for you because of the vitamin D that you get. Yes, you can take vitamin D. Man, that supplement will help to take it. I mean, but be in the sun, the grounding for sure. The fresh early morning sun is going to help. But the more sun you get throughout the day, that vitamin D, what it does to the immune system and keeps the immune system thriving. That flu bullshit that comes around every end of October, December, January, a little bit of February. It always hits the same time of the year. Why? Shorter days, a lot of cloud coverage. You're not getting the sun that you want. Your immune system is very low. You add to that, come Halloween, we start eating a shitload of candy. We move right into Thanksgiving and parties with Christmas parties and end of the year celebration parties, eating like shit. And then we like overdo it because we're like, oh man, January the 1st, I'm starting my New Year's resolution. So I'm going all in right now. This is my last hoorah. I'm going to eat it all right now, baby. So we just like increase it 100-fold. All the food that we eat through Thanksgiving, and then the Thanksgiving food lasts for 3 to 5 days. And then you move right into freaking Christmas. And then that lasts right into freaking New Year's. And then you got the New Year's celebration. And by the end of that, you have poisoned your body with so much toxic food, and your immune system is as low as it can get because of the lack of vitamin D from the sun. You're going to get sick. The body's like, fuck this. You want to try? You ain't eating nothing. Like me on the boat with Ryan. Son of a bitch. Ryan took me snorkeling, man, and going out there was like this. It was crazy. It was hell. And then we snorkeled around. My God, so beautiful, so beautiful. But the waves were like this. And so you're snorkeling doing this all, and like after about 20 minutes, I looked up and seen the boat doing this. I'm like, oh, I can't even make it back to the boat. So I get back to the boat. I grab this ladder where you climb up in. And then I'm holding on to this ladder, and the boat is like this. And Blanca's like, are you all right? And she's got the camera. She's filming all this shit. Damn her. And I'm like, the body's like, no more. And as soon as I threw up, all these beautiful yellow fish. Ryan, if you're still watching, what kind of fish were those? Man, they're all over me. Trying to eat. And my wife did get some good pictures and videos of that. I don't think the pictures she's got are good. The picture Ryan got, because he's got this underwater, what is it, the camera, whatever the hell you call that camera. Shit, I've got one. I don't even know. And he has this orange slice that his wife Crystal had cut up, and he's holding it, and he gets a great picture of all these fish, beautiful yellow fish coming to eat this orange. It's a great picture. Send that picture to me, Ryan. But so you poison your body for a month, 2 months, 3 months, very minimum vitamin D from the sun, and then you end up with what they call the flu. And no, the flu shot doesn't work. None of them shots work. Stop taking them. So yes, you need to remember. I talked earlier about the 21-day mental diet, and I still love that program. I still love that program. But I'm not a fan of when someone says it takes 21 days to form a habit, and then you'll hear people say you can instantly change. I don't know. Maybe they're kind of both correct, but what is more correct is what my friend and mentor Jim Rohn said. It's Lodi. It is always Lodi. Law of diminishing intent. You have to be reminding yourself every minute of the day what kind of person you want to be and what your plans and goals are for the future and the daily action steps that you're supposed to be taking. Every second of the day, you have to be reminding yourself. You are always forming new habits. I don't know if you have any habits. You're forming new habits every second of the day. So you're either reinforcing the habits that you have right now, or you're doing something to create and enforce new habits. But it's always habit forming every second of the day. You've got to reinforce the actions and the thoughts that you want to be taking. When can I let my guard down, Brian? You can't. When you're dead. When you're dead. But until then, you've got to be on guard, man. You've got to be on guard. You've got to be, especially for men, women too, but women should have a good man protecting them. And that doesn't mean I get to tell my wife, you can't eat that. Hell no. Not enough stress in the world to protect me. but so I mean, I guess it's the same because the women take care of the men way more than the men take care of the women, way more. But you need to be on guard every second of the day mentally for yourself. The thoughts that are popping into your brain, you've got to say no, 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 no. When you're having the conversations, you are or you become the people you hang around. You are or you become the people you hang around. They may become the people you hang around. You've got to be the light on the hill. You can't buy into their bullshit. You've got to be grounded. And by grounding, you've got to be reading stuff all the time, listening to CDs, whatever the hell it is, downloading podcasts, YouTube videos now. There's no reason you can't be listening to stuff like this podcast right now, reinforcing the thoughts that you want to have to be the person and become the person that you want, to have the business that you want over and over and over again. You want to be watching workout videos that you can do around the house with just body weight. Because that's what we're talking about. Like, so you can do the cold plunge, all that stuff. You can do the sprints. I've got some steps right outside my master door that leads down to the jacuzzi. And it's probably 1.5 feet. And then there's another one that's 1.5 feet. So they're not normal steps. A normal step is like 7.5 inches, something like that, which is fine. Because you can start with that, because I'm talking about box jumps, right? So you just jump, boom. And that's a good step for me because it's a good box jump, boom. Or I do the double one, boom. So you got your box jumps. That's an explosion, bam. You can do those. You can do air squats over and over again. I was telling Ryan on my trip across the country, every time I stopped to get gas, I would jump down, boom. I'd pump out 30, 35 push-ups, boom. I'd hop off the motorcycle, stretch a little bit, walk around, and I'd drop down. I'd do like 12 to 15 air squats. Boom. Everybody's looking at me like the nut, but whatever, it is what it is. I do the air squats, get the gas, do about 30 push-ups. Boom. So I'm doing that like 4 or 5 times a day, depending on how long the day was. And you can do that throughout the day. You don't have to do 100 push-ups first thing in the morning. Yeah, is it good? Yes. But you can do, I don't know where you're at. I mean, you can do 10 push-ups, and if that's all you can do, my God, man. YouTube, my boy Jim Rohn, and see if you can type in his stories talking about doing push-ups. Because it's funny as hell, because he's like, you get down and you do one push-up and you look up at us and you can and you say, one's all I can do, and we can see by the look on your face that's probably true. But is one push-up all you can do? No, because if you rest and wait a little while, you can do another one. And then if you rest and wait a little while, you can do another one. And pretty soon you'll be up to like 3 or 5 push-ups. And is 5 push-ups all you can do? No, because you can rest and wait a little while and do another push-up. Oh, it's funny as hell the way he says it. But that's it, man. You maybe you're at the point, I don't know, maybe you can do 50 push-ups and you can do that 4 times a day. Maybe you're at the point where you can only do 5 push-ups. I don't know. But I would suggest writing down your own little plan. You can go to Grok, you can go to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will help you come up with something. Let's see. Let's see here. Y'all bear with me. Hang on. Everybody hang on. Let's see. Hi, chat. I have a friend that is very overweight but wants to start working out, and I told him he doesn't have to go to the gym. He can use his own body weight and work out. Things like stretching, air squats, somehow push-ups, even if it's on his knees, pull-ups, even if he has to stand on a chair and use his legs to help him. Can you create a workout that begins very easy and he can ease into it over time and add to it over time?
Absolutely. That's a great way to start. Here's a simple, beginner-friendly workout plan that eases him into it and allows for progression over time. Week 1 to 2, building the habit. Stretches, 5 to 10 minutes. Focus on full body stretches to improve flexibility, include arm circles, gentle torso twists, and leg stretches. Wall push-ups, 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps. These are easier than regular push-ups and help build upper body strength. Chair-assisted squats, 2 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Use a chair for support and focus on form. And then walking, 15-20 minutes. A daily walk at a comfortable pace is a great one.
So that's all there. I mean, you can use chat, you can use Grok. They'll help you put together a program. But I like a full body. You can do the squats, some lunges, push-ups, even on your knees. But you want to write it down and plan it out and track it. Everything is about tracking. Just like business, everything is about trying different stuff and tracking it. Because if you're not tracking it, you don't know if it's working. So you're running new marketing campaigns. You're trying something new when you're answering the phone. You're putting something on your website. Everything you do needs to be tracked. And unfortunately, with marketing, you've got to spend money and track it, and give yourself, even a month really isn't long enough. You almost need the 90-day run. Track for 3 months. You can do these exercises. I like doing them for a week, 2 weeks, and then up your game. But the most part is building that consistency, that discipline part of the brain. And that's why I say start off real easy. And I like for people to start off with a little 10 to 15 minute workout, 10 to 15 minute workout for a couple of weeks. and then maybe kick it up to 16 to 17-minute workouts because you added whatever you're doing. You're doing a couple more push-ups, a couple more squats. Uh, because if you start off with the, oh man, we'll go to the gym and work out for 2 hours, an hour, it's a lot easier for that punk ass part of your brain to say, man, you ain't got time to do that. You got to get these invoices in. You got to do this. You got to call that guy. You need to be spending time with your family, man. Your kids are growing up real quick. You need to spend more time with them. You was at work all of that shit. Go work out early in the morning while your family is asleep. You won't take any time away from them. Uh, but yeah, you plan it out, write it down, and stick with it. I like the weight scale. That's not everything, but it's a good indicator. Jim Rohn says about discipline uh, and your cholesterol level, all this other shit. I'm not a fan of the cholesterol thing now because I found out that's bullshit. But and he's like, well, how do we know? Let's count. Let's count. Let's look at your bank account. Let's see where you're at. It's like, but count it all, man. Track it, count it all. And that's part of that. Every second of the day, you are aware of what is going on in your life and in all the lives around you. Always. Man, when I walk into a room, I'm looking for the exit. When I walk into a room, I'm looking for anything or anyone that may be a threat. When I meet anyone, I immediately size them up. Like, this guy's tall, this guy's short. Where should I hit him? Where would I kick him? Do they have a band-aid on? Are they a bandage? Because that's the first thing I'm going to try to hit. If something goes sour, all of that instant. But that's all done within a fraction of a second. If you watch The Bourne Identity, that's like when he's sitting in the restaurant with that girl. He's like, I can tell you everything here. That guy's over here. He's got this. It's like all of that because that's a part of the brain that you're exercising over and over again. That's how you want to be with your stress level, with your health, everything. Breathing, conscious of your breathing, all of that. So you got to get that workout in. Food. Let's talk about food because we've been lied to for the last 75 years. I don't try to change nobody's mind. I'm just saying, do your own research. My buddy didn't try to change my mind. He just told me he's eating meat, no more vegetables. And I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, are you retarded? All of that stuff. He told me that about 5 years ago, and I thought he was retarded. And I said, man, the whole low fat, all that stuff. I was like, man, this dude's lost his mind. Because I've tried it all over the years. Vegetarian, the green juices, the drinks, all of it. And then this dude told me this. He sold everything, moved to Vietnam. But 6 months after, maybe even 3 months after he did this carnivore thing, he showed up at my house and he had that big belly for the last 15 years. Because in high school, he was a marathon runner. He'd never weighed more than like 125, 100, maybe 130 was heavy for him. And so now he's like close to 200. And he walked. Man, he walked. One, he was a postman, so he walked a lot. But then even on his days off, and then when he retired, he was walking minimum 8 miles a day. Minimum 8 miles a day in Chino Hills. Look it up. I mean, it's called Chino Hills for a reason. And he always had his backpack. And he's eating all this vegetables and he's doing these soft smoothie drinks and stuff and never lost that belly. And in my head, he's lying. I was like, dude, you got to be going home and eating nothing but a couple of gallons of ice cream. And then he tells me this, listen to some doctor in North Carolina. I should know his name because I watch all of his shit. He said, yeah, man, it's carnivore. I was like, man, you can't eat meat like that, dude. 3 months later, no belly. And I was like, what the F? And I put it in the back of my head. I said, nah, he's lying. My best friend for over 30 years. Nah, he's lying, because it goes for my entire life. It goes against everything I've heard, right? So then I'm watching Jordan Peterson, and he says carnivore, and his daughter says lion diet, which is just crazy. And then Joe Rogan, and then friggin' uh, what's his name from the UFC, and I was like, son of a bitch. I said, man, my buddy tried to tell me last year. So then I start researching it, and I was like, ah, man. I said, all I can do is try. I'll try it. And now it's not called a diet; it's called a carnivore lifestyle because I believe in it so much. But then in one of these groups that I joined, and we're talking about the carnivore lifestyle, a guy says, "Hey man, read the book Big Fat Surprise. It's not about carnivore, but read it." And I was like, "All right, cool." Download that book, start reading it, immediately listen to it again. So I listened to it twice in a row, and it explains from the early 1900s this whole lie about fat and meat and the sugar industry and the backdoor deals, and it's like how everybody knew and they lied, uh, and then dissolving illusions. Because I was in a network marketing group years ago, and I've been in a lot of them. I met this young lady, and she's probably 15 years younger than me, but I respected the hell out of her because she's so smart. And I agreed with like 90% of everything she said. But she used to talk about vaccines and how bad they were. And I'm like, man, she's got to be. It's like, how can someone that smart be that wrong? And like, what the hell? Until COVID, and then I started researching vaccines, and you got to read Dissolving Illusions. Then you realize all that shit was lies and made up. You go, God damn. Have we not been told the truth about anything? I was talking to my daughter today about why some people are lactose intolerant and da da da, and is it the pasteurization and all the other stuff. So Louis Pasteur, who pasteurized the milk, uh, and at that time the milk needed to be pasteurized, and it's kind of like taking milk and just boiling it to hell and killing everything, uh, and then drinking it. So now it's safe to drink because in the 1800s, mid 1800s, early 1900s, if you watch Gangs of New York, it'll show you what life was like. But you've got 8 to 10 people living in a little 10 by 10 room, horse shit everywhere, pigs running wild in the street, shitting everywhere, donkeys, mules, uh, feces, people throwing feces out the window, no running water that much, no electricity, people just all cluttered, staying sick. Everyone, over 90% of the people are extremely malnutrition, the immune system, nothing, right? No freaking sunlight, none of that vitamin D shit we were talking about. So everybody is sick, the rats, all of it. It's just a bad time to be alive. Doctors working on dead bodies, cadavers, and doing autopsies and trying to learn about the body. And a lady would be in the next room having a baby. They'd just go leave this dead body, go over there and help deliver the baby without washing their hands. And the mother would get, sick, and the baby would get sick, and everybody would be dying and dead. And it took doctors a long time when they were first told, "Hey, you need to wash your hands and kill the germs." That was like voodoo witchery crap. It probably took 10 years to convince them to wash your hands. So then they start cleaning up the place. But so that time the cows would be all sick and full of pus and filled with disease and mad cow disease and everything. And so that's why the milk was no good. That's why you had to pasteurize it. So they would take those sick, diseased cows, kill them, chop it up, and sell the food and sell the meat. There's no refrigeration. Uh, just an unhealthy place to live in the cities. Out in the sticks, living off the farm, everybody was super healthy. Uh, so then they finally get electricity and refrigerators and clean up the streets and get rid of the feces and running water for toilets. And now they're getting better food, and so the immune system picks up. So now it's near the early 1900s, and things are starting to shift. And they start giving everybody vaccines and swear that's what cured everything. Oh, these vaccine shots. No, no, no. But that's a whole other thing. But the whole food thing is just like every second of the day, you are confirming the habits that you already have and want to make stronger, or you are killing those habits and developing new habits. There is no middle ground. There is no neutral. There is no neutral when you put something in your body. You're either strengthening your body, strengthening your immune system, making yourself stronger, giving your body the nutritions it needs, or you're poisoning yourself. There's no neutral. Uh, and it's okay to poison yourself. Again, you don't want to stress out so much that you do more harm than good. Just know that you're poisoning yourself. Uh, don't go to the extreme. Like for me, cereal and seed oil is the same as drinking radiator fluid. Uh, I just now that I know what I know, I can't put it in my body. Just no. It's that bad. It's that unhealthy. So you get to decide how slowly you want to poison yourself, and then you can take some days off and fast or do the intermittent fasting. Uh, Fish is good, and I can send you a list of doctors and YouTube links and people to follow and research if you want them. But fish isn't as good as it was because of the mercury that's in the water. Most of the fish are farmed, grown fish, and it's like everything else that gets in like corporations and grown and for the money. Uh, Vegetarian, if it's a raw food vegetarian, like Dr. Anthony Chafee will tell you, all vegetables are trying to kill you. The arsenic that's in it, all of it. I mean, he's pure carnivore type stuff. He like vegetables. He swears vegetables are trying to kill you. And when you listen to him and you hear all this, like it kind of makes sense. But that's why you have to cook so many of them to kill the stuff. Uh, I'm okay with fruits. I believe fruit is God's natural dessert. You just don't want to eat too much of it because of the sugar. You definitely don't want to do any of the juices, apple juice, orange juice, none of that. None of that. Uh, you cannot overeat fat and red meat. You don't have to count calories, none of that. You just eat as much red meat and fat as you want. You've been lied to about cholesterol. Uh, Huge, huge, huge lie. The statins, no, stay away from them. You got to do your own research. Three areas of your life you never turn over to experts. And number one is your health. Don't. The doctors are just educated drug pushers. Uh, Watch that Netflix series Dope Sick with Michael Keaton. You'll realize how silly doctors are, how they're manipulated by marketers and companies and pharmaceutical companies and cute pharmaceutical girls in skirts. But yeah, so your health and fitness, never give it over to someone else. Your finances, never give it over to someone else. Educate yourself. In your spiritual beliefs, question everything. Question everything. Don't take anything I say as fact. Do your own research. And I read this book that Mel Gibson talked about on Joe Rogan. I'm gonna pull it up because it's like a friggin' 30-hour book. What the hell? Where's my Audible? There it is. Library. Hang on. Day training. Let's see. Dissolving Illusions. Woo! You got to get that one. Oh my God. Um, I like all the Bill O'Reilly history books. The Frontiersman. There it is. 30 hours and 29 minutes. Man, God, it was a good book. Uh, but it's this dude that, explored and opened up the whole Ohio Valley and Kentucky, all of that. He hung out with Daniel Boone and those guys. But it seemed like that era, that time era, those people were the healthiest. They were living off of, like, wild, deer and buffalo. Man, buffalo was so good, and the protein, and like just all meat and fat back, and lard and bacon, and moving a lot, right? Moving a lot, walking and doing shit. Uh, Vegetables when they were available, but they weren't available uh, you know every month of the year like meat was. Uh, Bread, but the bread back then, kind of like if you go to Italy and stuff, the bread doesn't have all the poisons in it that our bread does. If you get some good sourdough bread from one of your local farmers market, that's just bread, salt, and water, sourdough, that type of is. Uh, I'm still not. I'll eat it. I like it. I stay very low carbs. Most of the time, hardly no carbs. Because all carbs, vegetables are carbs. It all turns into sugar in your body. Uh, but again, you got to plan out something for a week, a month. I like the month, the 3 months, but that's hard for someone to be disciplined in the beginning. But again, you've got to be tracking it all, man. You got to be tracking it all, and you can't fast for one day. And like, uh, I'm a firm. I like the 3 day fast. I'm a real believer in the intermediate fasting, only because if you look back in time, a couple of 100 years ago, whatever it was, is uh, you would have to go sometimes days without eating. Uh, and then you get that good kill and bring the buffalo back to the thing, and then you eat meat until it's all gone. Uh, and there's a lot of benefits to fasting. But in all honesty, from all the research I've done in the last 3 years, intermittent fasting is good. I'm a fan of that. Eat one time a day. But honestly, you can eat all day long as much as you want if it's just red meat and fat. You cannot overeat red meat and fat. Pork and the bacon is good too. It's just not as nutritionally dense as red meat and fat. All the fat. I can't stress how much eat as much fat as you can. Make yourself sick, uh, but you won't be able to. You can eat 2 boxes of pizzas and still be hungry. But man, you try eating 2 ribeyes and you won't be able to finish them. All right, guys, it is shit, man, an hour and 18 minutes. I think I was only gonna go for 30 minutes. Hit me up. You got any questions? Don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. Read as many books as you can. Watch as many YouTube videos. If you want a list of different doctors and YouTube videos to watch, I will say uh, Becca. Uh, when they talk about the blue zones of the world where people live to be over 100 years, uh, 3 things are always in common. One is they move a lot, they're walking a lot. The steeper the hill that you walk up, the longer you live, that type of thing. 2, they're happy, less stress. And 3, they're eating raw earth food. They're eating earth food, whether it's vegetarian, uncooked, unprocessed food, red meat, cooked and like, rare. Uh, but they don't do the processed stuff. And man, it's an addiction, man. It's those habits that we're talking about. It's like they are chemically developed to make you addicted to them, to want more, to be in a bad mood. Your body craves it. Late 70s, when the government started turning against cigarette smoking, uh, the cigarette companies got smart, saw the handwriting on the wall, and bought up the majority of food corporations and put their scientists to work in the early 80s, late 70s, developing all the food to be addictive. Because that's the name of the game, getting you addicted to it. Not is it nutrition? Does it help? Does it feed the body? Any of that stuff. They just need you addicted to it. You are just a number. The Keystone, like the Dr. Pepper, man, you know that's my drink. And cheer wine. I don't know if you had cheer wine, but cheer wine's a North Carolina drink, I think. But I indulge myself again because of you know, the endorphins that it releases. I just don't overdo it. It goes back to the balance. All right, guys, appreciate you. Hit me up. Hopefully next week we will be full swing again. Uh, Next week we will talk about my motorcycle trip. Let's do one with Ryan and Dave and Charlie and I don't know if I can get Jason on here, but we'll just all talk about because I spent time with all of them. So, all right, guys, love you. Have a great 4th of July. I'll probably pop on and say hi while I'm out there camping. Rather than that, got any value from this? Share it with someone.